Hi guys, it's Dakota. Hope everybody's doing well today. So today's video is about incense and more specifically about resin incense. Last week I talked about my 5 favorite herbs, and those are my herbs that I work with on a regular basis. I probably have 25 or more herbs that are my favorites that I like to work with. But those were my 5 that I tend to, those are my go-tos really. I love to work with those herbs. So what I thought I would do is follow that up today with my favorite incense that I use. And in saying that, it came to me that I don't really use, I mostly use resin incense. I'm not big into stick incense, and I don't ever use cone incense, not because I don't like it, not because one is better than the other, but just because I don't use it. I don't know. I just always, a stick is easier for me for whatever reason. I don't know. So I use stick incense. When I say stick incense, I'm talking about incense that's on a stick. And although this incense I do use, this is hemp, and this is the mugwort. Now, hemp, well, I'm going to just speak about this one because this one I know for sure. I don't know about all of hemp incense. This one, pardon my dirty fingers, I'll tell you that in a minute. It is perfumed. If you've ever smelled mugwort, it smells. It does not smell good. So this has a perfume base to it. So it's not natural. In other words, it's not natural mugwort. If you've ever smelled mugwort, it stinks. This has a perfume base, and it's good for divination. And for whatever reason, I don't really care for hemp incense. There's only a few that I can tolerate. Mugwort I happen to like, and it's really good for divination. I love to use it when I'm doing tarot. So that's the only time that I really use this. Now, I do use stick incense that is natural. We have some natural incense that is on a stick, actually. And that is this incense. And this is called Nature. And it is all natural. I absolutely love it. And we burn that a lot at the store as opposed to burning the resin. And here's why. I just want to talk about the resin. So the resin, as you saw in the incense burner, in my cauldron, requires the use of a charcoal brick, which this is an indoor charcoal. I think they use them in hookahs. They're little round discs. They come in a little package like this. There's like 10 in a stick, or in a package, and you can break them in half. If you don't want to use the whole thing, you can break them in half. That's why I've got little fingers, because I didn't mean to break it, but it did break, and it broke in half. I wanted to get it lit before we started because they take a little while to kind of get rolling. I don't know. Some do and some take off just like that. But anyway, so in order to burn resin incense, you need to have a charcoal disc because the resin cannot burn. It needs a fire source. It needs a fire source. So you have to have a charcoal brick to get your incense to ignite. Okay. So what I decided to do was I couldn't, pick your favorite, Dakota. Well, that wasn't going to happen. I have several favorites. So what I did was I just decided to tell you, I'm going to talk a little bit about copal, which is also called copal. I've heard it pronounced both ways. So if copal offends you, I apologize. If copal is the absolute correct way, then send me a link and I will do my research on that, because I have asked several people and I have tried to find out, and both ways is what I've been told. Copal, copal. So sometimes I interchange them so that everybody's happy. All right. So copal I do use, it's not my go-to. It is not a go-to for me. I use it on occasion when I feel that it's necessary. The word copal is derived from the Nahuatl language. Now, I don't know what language that is, Nahuatl. I couldn't find it, but it was in one of my resources in edu resource, and Nahuatl, but it didn't say where that was. But the meaning of Nahuatl, or I'm sorry, the meaning of copal is incense. That's copal means incense. So what I like about copal is really good for raising energies, for raising energy. So when you are doing magic work, or you're doing spell work or whatever, or you're doing divination, or you're doing ritual, especially you're doing ritual and you're trying to raise the energy, trying to raise the vibrations, you're trying to just bring in that good feeling, you know, that good magic, then copal would be a really good resin to use. Because that's one of the properties, is it helps to raise the vibration, helps to bring in that energy that's needed for success. Well, if I'm trying to do spell work and I need and I want success, then I'm going to use copal. It just brings about a good energy. Now, it's a very sacred resin to the. It was a very sacred resin to the Mayans, to the Aztecs, the people of South America, and the people of Mexico still consider it a sacred resin. And they, in one of the reports that I was reading, it said they burn it on Sunday to bring in this happy energy, this good vibration. And why Sunday? Because this is it's a desert tree. It comes from a desert tree. So it is a solar resin. Solar being fire, it's a fire element. And so they believe that if you burn it on Sunday, that it's when it's the most powerful. I say burn it when you need to burn it. If your energies are running low, if you're feeling kind of poo, or you need some real good mojo going on with your magic, burn some copal. I'm just a huge believer in your intention, that you are able to manifest what it is that you want or need at the time. Should you do it on the specific, like on the specific moon, or on the specific day, or when the planet is specific here, or this or that or the other? Hey, yeah, you should. I mean, that would be even that much more powerful. But if you can't, what are you going to do? You're going to wait? I mean, I'm not. I'm going to do it when I need it. And I feel that if I call in the right energies, I work with deity, I work with spirit guides, I work with the universe, I work with the elements and the elementals. I work with the sun, I work with the moon. So I just feel like I need this now, not 18 days from now when the energy is just right. Like, I need it right this second. I'm going to do it. I'm going to use it then. And I just feel like my energies and my intentions and what it is that I invoke into my stuff, that it will be so. That I can manifest it. It will be so. Okay, that's me. That's just me. All right. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is frankincense. So frankincense is just like copal, and I didn't show you copal. It looks just like frankincense. I'll show you frankincense instead. I meant to show you. So it's just little pebbles, little grains of resin, And now copal is kind of sweet smelling. It's sweet and it's kind of earthy at the same time. Frankincense is not sweet. Frankincense to me is more on the medicinal side of the house. I don't know how to explain that. That's just what comes out, medicinal. That's how I smell it. I recognize it as it has this, it does have a deep, earthy, rooty kind of scent to it, but it is also a very medicinal smell to it. I use frankincense in place of sage or any dried herb that you burn for cleansing purposes. When I need to clean my space, cleanse my temple, cleanse my magic room, cleanse my little cottage here, cleanse the shop, I don't like the smell of sage and I don't like the smell of dried burning herbs. So, but I do like the smell of frankincense. And here's the thing. Frankincense for me, when I'm done doing a cleanse, it's almost as if the energy smells crisp, if that makes sense. So I can still smell the frankincense, but it literally smells crisp. It sounds weird, but it's clean. It's very pure. It smells, it's wonderful. So I use frankincense. That is my go-to for cleansing, Cleanse myself, cleanse my space. Well, let me add that and Palo Santo. But Palo Santo has a different energy to it. It does have a different energy to it. So frankincense truly is my go-to. It helps with anxiety, with stress. You know, frankincense was used, well, frankincense and myrrh back in the biblical days. So it's actually, you know, it's a holy resin, or could be considered a holy resin, I guess, by some. The religious ceremonies, they used to use it. Catholic Church, I think, used it at one time. I don't know what they use now. I would imagine that's what they use. I don't know. I don't go to church, so I have no idea. But one of the things, oh, and also it's really good for success as well. And a lot of people will carry a little pebble with them, like put it in a little pouch and carry it with them. I know someone who puts a little pebble in he just keeps it in a little paper, just wraps up in a little piece of paper, puts that in his wallet to bring about success. We have a little piece in our register, or cash register at the store for that same purpose, to help bring in success and good luck, and seems to be working. I absolutely love it. So those are the things. It grows in a hot, dry desert. And here's the other really cool thing. So as sorry, that's smoke. Skincare product. It is excellent as an astringent, and also this is my fave. This is my favorite, and I've never made it, but I'm going to try it. It supposedly has, for skincare, has an anti-aging factor to it, and also helps reduce wrinkles. Yay! I'm going to try it, and if it works, hey, maybe I'll make some. Okay, so that's frankincense. You can make oil. You can put a couple of the pebbles into like a carrier oil of some kind, like jojoba or a sweet almond, and I like sweet almond unscented oil. Put a couple of drops in there. Anoint your tools, anoint yourself in ritual, all kinds of things, because remember, it is part of that holy side of the house. So frankincense, good stuff. It's really good stuff. Okay, the next thing I was going to talk about was myrrh. Now, I don't have any. I didn't have any here at the house. I used the last bit of it. I don't know, it's been a while. I don't use it all that often, but what I do have is, and I'm going to probably kill the name of it, so forgive me, a Poponox, a Poponax, a Poponex, Poponex, a Poponex, I think is how it's called. But it looks like this. And this is a Poponex, and it is actually called sweet myrrh. That's what this is. This is sweet myrrh. And where regular myrrh is a little bitter, has a little bit of a little tinge to it. And this is sweet. It smells really good. This is sweet. I use both. I crush these up though. I crush them up in my mortar pestle and make a powder out of them. Or sometimes I might like use little chunks of it and put it in with a powder mix, or I'm sorry, an herb mix like this. I found this in my little box. I made it. I have no idea what it was for. You can see it has resin on the top, not myrrh. I don't know what it is. And then the only herb I can really identify, because they're all dry, is lavender. But always label your stuff. I have no idea what this was for, but I can tell you that it smells divine, and I'm going to use it. It's not labeled, so I'm assuming that if I had used it for something that I didn't want to use it again for, I would not have kept it in a plastic bag. So I'm pretty sure it's safe to use, and I'm going to try it. Okay, so back to myrrh. All right, so this is the Opoponax, but sweet myrrh, called sweet myrrh. And this actually is good for necromancy, you know, talking with spirit, talking with the dead. So this is really good if you're doing journey work and you're doing underworld, you know, divination or journey work. It's a really good resin to burn when the veil is thin. So Beltane, Samhain would be a really good time to use this. Brings about those psychic abilities, that intuition, the ability to commune with the ancestors for the myrrh. Both the myrrh and the sweet myrrh, but the sweet myrrh or the Opoponax is actually, I think, might be a little bit better for communing with the ancestors than the other. It just depends on you and your personal choice. Now, just like the frankincense, it grows in the desert, dry heat. The fact that it's sort of this reddish color, they used to refer to it as Christ's suffering. So the fact that it's this brownish red color, let's look at the correspondences. Corresponds with fire, solar, sun, Mars. So it would be a protective resin as well. You could use it for protection. So there again, you could use this as a to smudge around if you wanted to, a cleansing if you wanted to. The Egyptians used myrrh to embalm the dead, and they also used it as an offering. They would burn it as an offering for the sun god Ra. So there again, if we look at that solar, you know, that solar energy, that fire, then myrrh is a fire resin. However, if you read any of Scott Cunningham's stuff, he says it corresponds with the moon, and rightfully so, because the myrrh tree actually has little white flowers, and it actually produces or bears little fruits. I don't know if the fruits are edible. I've never heard of it, but the fact that it bears fruit and it has little white flowers would make it more feminine. So I see where then it would correspond with the moon energies and would be a lunar resin as opposed to a solar one. But when I break that down even further, like when I was thinking about that, I thought, well, you know, let's break that down even further, because guess what? The myrrh tree grew from the earth. So now we have the element of earth, the element of fire, the element of water, because moon is water, and plus, you know, resin is a sticky substance. It's the blood of the tree. So we can look at that as water, and then of course air being life and needing air to breathe, which is what the tree produces and also consumes as well. So yeah, so I kind of thought that was cool. So what I do is, and you saw the smoke before, and my charcoal brick has, I think, now burned out. Let me pull the camera down real quick and show you. So yeah, the charcoal brick has gone out. So, but you can see, oops, there you go. You can see right here, let me back up. You can see right here this white. So it was glowing red. Oh, it's still a little red. There, it's still going. See if you can see that little red ember right there, red glowing. So it's still glowing. And so if you put your resin on there, where the heat source is when you're going to get your smoke. So this is your heat source. You have to have fire, and then all you do is take your resin and take your resin. This is a big piece because I don't know if it'll light. And I'm trying to get it to stick. I'm not sure if it'll light because it's just a small ember. I didn't maintain the charcoal enough. Oops. You can see it smoking. But yeah, so all you do is just take your resin, and anyway, that sand will put out the fire. Anyway, and you just drop your resin on top of your charcoal brick, and if you have a good enough fire, this one's almost out, it will start smoking. So the thing is though, and then this is what I put inside my cauldron. Okay, I place this inside my cauldron, and this cauldron has a hole in it. You can see that little white right there, that little white dot. That's a hole. I've had this cauldron for over 20 years. It's copper. I love it. I love all the patina. I love the feel of it. I love using it. I would never, ever, ever think about cleaning this or shining it, because that is the magic of it. I absolutely love this cauldron. Oops, sorry. I brought this one just to show you. This is probably a 3-inch cauldron. This is an old one. It's very heavy. I took the handle off because it was getting in my way. I keep this one on my altar because it's small, and you know, it doesn't get in the way of stuff. So so that's just about it. Now the purpose of the sand is because, see all this stuff here? This is all the melted resin. Now if I didn't have the sand in there, this stuff would have melted right onto your metal. And that is loud. Sorry. Whoa. Then you would have a sticky mess. So that is the purpose of putting the sand. It makes for easy cleanup. You can, and you know, you can put it, this is all natural. This is all natural. You can put this right out, dig a hole and put it right out there. Put it in your garden. It's just sand. It's clean sand. And resin, which comes from the tree, and charcoal, which turns into ash. So you know, it's okay to put your remnants back into earth if you want to do that. And really, that's all there is to it. You can blend your resins in with herbs. You can grind your resins to make a powder. Just use the powder if you want. Sprinkle the powder on your charcoal. Now, again, be careful that you don't put big globs of stuff on your charcoal brick, because it will suffocate it and it will burn it out. It will suffocate it. I think that's what happened is when I was trying to pick up the resin with that little spoon, I got some of the sand and it put out the charcoal. It was too much sand on the charcoal, so it wouldn't burn all the way through. Anyway, you should always handle your charcoal with little tongs. These are antique little tongs that I have, little feet. I like it. This is my little spoon for, has a little piece of, I'm not sure what that is. I think it's Amazonite. Mostly for the herbs. When I get down, like the powders and stuff, even though, just like with my herbs, I like handling stuff. Like right now, my fingers are like stuck together from having my hands in the resins. I like if I'm going to do magic, I want to feel it, and I want my energy to be into it. So, you know, if I have to use a little spoon, like to move the resin around on the charcoal so that I don't get burned, I'll do that. And I hold the charcoal with these to light it usually, but other than that, when I'm playing with the herbs, I want to feel it. Ooh, and I want to talk about how they're sticky. Ooh, glad I remembered this. One of the ways to get your resin, I've had this question at the shop. How do you get your resin to grind into a nice powder? Because when I start grinding it, it gets gooey. It doesn't work right. It sticks to the pestle and everything is clumped on the pestle. It just doesn't grind right. Put it in the freezer for a couple of hours. Put your bag of resin in the freezer for a couple of hours. Freeze it, and it will grind so much better, so much better. Okay, I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week with something new. Bye, guys.